in our relationship, how do you feel like you are continuing to grow?
It's a good one. But first, I'm going to take a sip from our sponsor,
Ooh,
Positivity.
positivity water.
There it is. Cheers.
My fave. Best
And
alkaline water out there.
I feel that I've grown a lot. I came to you with a lot of growth. I, like I said, I was on a healing journey for many years to heal a lot of the things that I went through when I was younger. And I feel with you, this is a true partnership. I've learned to trust. I've learned to be more vulnerable, to let my guard down. My tools in my toolbox, I got a whole new set of tools by being with you and also allowing you to guide as well. I'm a Leo, Capricorn rising. You know that let's go. But I also have trust in your leadership. And I think that's amazing because you always steer me in the most amazing directions. And to stand there and to listen and then to apply it really has enhanced me. And I respect you.
Mhm.
And I think that's huge growth in my area of life in terms of how I've rolled in the past, even though I'm a giver, I'm a, what have you. But I think ego played a role in a lot of things too, where you sometimes let ego lead. And it's not ego to where I can be stubborn, of course, but again, letting that all go and just knowing and always looking for the, either the silver lining, the growth in something, even when you go through hard times, but also the magic in having all of these very simple foundational things that we already know. But what's the secret is actually living this stuff.
Yep.
And if you live it and you practice, not to push up, I'm a big believer in do as they say, not as they do. If you're preaching something, you have to live it. Otherwise,
Period.
how can you be the example?
Well, and on the flip side of that as well, historically, I've been very frustrated because people will talk the talk and I walk the talk. So for me, it doesn't seem too crazy or too much to have certain expectations or maintain a certain standard or hold the people to a certain standard that everybody has in the past found to be impossible. And I'm like, no, no, no. The fact that I can maintain that, that means that it's possible. Like by way of observation, you see that that is a possible thing. And you are the first person that has ever been reciprocal or healed enough to show up in that energy and knock the ego out of it and actually like be down to do the hard work.
I,
And it's
lo-
such a blessing.
I love the hard work.
So do I.
I love the hard work when it's rewarding, when it, not that I just do things for reward and for to gain anything, but if you put in the hard work, you want to have results. And the results are, I see the way you look at me. I see the way you
Mhm.
show up. I see the way that you have constantly lived in your femininity, your divine femininity, where when I met you, you're a little more in your divine masculine, right? You 100% you were. And now with the trust in allowing your man to lead, but yet still being an autonomous leader, I've seen you've blossomed into this woman before my eyes in the
Mhm.
last few years
Thank you.
that is something to me is I respect it so much. And just to watch it and be able for you to be able to be in your true feminine is something that inspires me. And it inspires me to also want to do better and want to show up. I already want to show up because one, I love myself. I believe in God. I believe in divinity. I believe in the astral. I believe in it all.
All of it.
All of it, all
All
of
of it.
it. I'm on everything.
Sir.
But with that, it takes two very solid individuals to have and to be in a healthy relationship. Even another thing that I've been in relationships where I've been, oh, I can't be without this person. I can't. But man, that was not a healthy situation.
Mhm.
Where we're like, oh, we want to be together all the time, but in the healthiest, most autonomous way that is really enjoyable. Like it's enjoyable. And
Very.
if I got to go somewhere, if I'm at the studio or if I'm at Cafe Cortina or if I'm somewhere and I'm behind and I'm late, I'm not freaking out that you're going to freak out. Where are you? Where are you? You're just like, "I'll see you when I see you," and then when I get home,
Or
you're
I go to bed.
very rare, very rare. Even if you go to bed, I somehow you greet me at the door, and I walk in the house, and there's incense and candles, and I'm just like, "Ah." It's so I run home. I run home,
Thank you.
and you've created that. Also, when you walk in the door, and I know sometimes we bring it on ourselves as partners, men, what have you, but you walk in the door and someone is just at the door, the first thing is screaming and yelling, and it's not even like, even if there is a situation, you're never like that. We get into certain things here and there because you hash things out, you do things
Humanness,
right, but
opportunities to grow.
talk about how you bounce back from these things, because energetically, when something happens, like, you early on, like, if something happens with me, I check out, like, I just get it's really, and you can feel my energy, but through the lessons that we've learned together and what have you, we come back together, like, within, like, minutes.
Well, because both of us had deep-rooted trust issues, so being able to trust that in your weak moments or in hard moments, that person's not gonna abandon everything that you've built just because 'cause they're pissed off and, like, come at you, you know? That's something I had to really get used to, that you were never trying to punish me for anything ever. You were never being passive aggressive. Like, that was not even a concept for me. So I really had to get used to that and, like, with neuroplasticity, really rewire those brains.
How did you do it? What was the process through that?
So anytime I would feel triggered or I would feel like I was having a trauma response, whether if I couldn't even give you an example because I data dump almost everything. But when I would feel a trauma response, I would filter it immediately. I'm like, don't react. You love this man. This is an earth angel that God just like. So to filter it, I would be like, okay, is he actually is, like, that real, or is this my perception, and is that perception specifically because of this event that happened in my life, or this person did this, or just whatever the case may be that I was clearly still holding on to inside that was still affecting me to the point that it's now, like, affecting how I think about everything. So, when I would follow the facts, as you always say, the facts would always lead to, like, "No, no, no, like, this is genuine," and again, I know the energy that I show up in and how genuine I am, so I have to give you the benefit of doubt that yours is the same, and it always was. So, over the course of time, I had to stop. I didn't need to field any kind of questions or energy. It just became the flow, like, ease, comfort, stability.
Yeah, it took a minute, but trust absolutely builds closeness. There's just no way about it. If you don't have trust in a relationship, there's
You have
no
nothing. Just throw it away.
100.
You can't come back from that,
You
and that's
can't.
why it's so fragile. Fragile?
Yes, I understand. I
It was a
understand.
fraginal birth.
We don't say fragile in our household. We say fraginal. Just FYI. But go ahead.
I don't even know where I was going.
I think you were going for smart water again. I
Positivity water.
thought you were going for positivity water again.
Tell your friend.
So again, what are some other tools that you suggest in terms of, you've been in relationships, obviously you're where you are now as the strong individual you are, but as a leader, as someone that also cultivates others and advises others, what are some toolbox tools in your toolbox to create closeness in a relationship?
Transparency all the time, especially when it's uncomfortable. Period.
Yeah, you'll say things that, the average man would buckle. They'd cry in a corner, literally. I'm just like, "That's my girl."
And I am so grateful that you're not the average man, so thank
I
you.
mean, God bless all human beings. So there's that. What about coming back from a fight? What would you call it, a fight? I don't think we ever fight, but we've been in situations.
Rough, energetic moments.
You haven't jumped out of the car and tucked and rolled, but you jumped out of the car before. But you came back within No, listen, I'm gonna say these are we're
Don't piss
gonna
me off.
listen, these are right, don't fizz
I'll
her up.
leave right now.
But to come back from those things,
But
just
also, to be fair, that was very, very, very early on, and you were not at all respectful of my energetic boundaries in those moments.
mhm,
So when I told you that I needed you to be quiet because I was gonna react unfavorably,
mhm,
and you kept poking, I was like, "I don't want to say something damaging that I can't come back from because I know my mouth." And I was like, "I'm gonna get out the car." And I did.
and you did,
And you
and you
went to the
did.
gym, and I went home.
I did. I followed you home first, though, definitely. You don't know that I followed you home, but I was about 4 cars behind all the way until you got home, and then I went to the gym
Mm.
because your safety is my
See that? That's
number 1
chivalry
priority.
2024. You followed me home.
After she tucked and rolled out of the car as it was going 10 miles an hour.
Mhm.
But no, with that said, coming back from a fight, what are some things that are tools? Okay, we talked about ego. We
Remaining
talked
open,
mhm,
remembering that's your best friend, remembering that's the person you love, and despite what you're feeling right in that moment, that isn't your whole story.
yeah,
So, like you're so good about it, where I'm more stubborn and I'm less trusting. So you'll just come up and you'll like grab my hand, and I'm like, I can't take my hand away. That would be so messed up. Like, this is the man that I love.
uh
So then I like immediately start to soften. I'm like, okay, but I do miss him.
definitely. And
And then we talk.
and also I think is giving you your space too.
Yeah,
And,
thank
and
you.
that's really important is that if someone is in their, in their feelings, what have you have to no matter what it is, no matter as a man where we're like, "Oh no, that's not how I meant it. That's not how, that's not my POV." You have to respect the other person's POV because it could be totally different. And then once I feel that you're a little bit more into your coming out of it and you're
Well, you
realizing
say that like I'm having episodes though.
oh, no, no.
Yeah.
Episodes how? Like,
I don't know,
episodes
like I'm coming out of something because more often than not, if I get to that point,
mhm,
my boundaries are not being adhered to
mhm.
and I don't feel respected or heard. That's the only time I pop off.
I respect it, and what other relationship advice do you have? You have a lot of young women that reach out to you and DM
I
you,
do.
and you spend time with them, and you mentor them, and you talk to them. What are some things that you've noticed in terms of where people are what are they looking for in this day and age in a relationship? Are people looking for relationships? Are they looking to be single? Are they
No,
looking to
I don't think anybody is actually ever looking to be single. I think you you become okay with it. You know what I mean? Like you don't need the relationship to be whole, but I think more often than not, like we're put on this earth to pair or like couple up and that looks different for everybody, like whatever that looks like, but like we're beings that are meant to interact in a very specific way. Um so wait, what was the question again?
I don't remember. I don't
We
remember.
cannot go 3 rounds. I'm like Dark
Uh,
for
yeah. I was just asking you, what do you recommend to the young,
Oh,
the people that you mentor and that reach out to you? Because I listen, you give your heart and soul to people,
hmm.
and you're strategic in who you meet with. You can't meet with everybody. I mean, you vet people.
No,
What
like
have
for
you.
women, a big thing for anybody that is seeking any kind of help, whether it's self-help, help in the relationship, it comes down to your relationship with yourself. And if you're not respecting yourself, you're definitely not respecting your man. You know what I mean? And like it's a circle and you have to be willing to look at it like that. Like if I feel a certain way or if I feel more tender about something that you said or whatever the case may be, which is hardly ever. But in those moments, okay, so for the young ladies, we'll say in our house, things that I am trying to convey to the generations that follow us. I like that in my home, I have a daughter that gets to learn how to treat a man in a very hyper feminist society where the goal is for the woman to be the prize for whatever. And I'm not disputing that, but also men are the prize. I was watching a podcast recently where she was saying men pull you up to the plate. Like you don't decide to get married. A man tells you, I'd like to marry you. He's the one that asks for your hand. He's the one that lets you be his girlfriend, and not lets you, like, in a condescending way, but devaluing men isn't the answer.
Mm.
And to get what you need out of a man, you have to build him. Just like for us to be productive as women, we have to be built by our partner. Like it's a partnership. And I think the art of catering to your man has really been lost over the last several years as well.
Well, you're bringing the curriculum
But
back.
also to show my son, like, this is what you should strive for in a relationship. Like, you don't have to settle either. You don't have to have these girls going crazy on you for no reason because you saw your mother going crazy on somebody. Like, you saw your mother every morning show up in the most loving, respectful way in her relationship. He- He's never seen me yell at you. Like, there's
No,
none of that.
thank God,
And
because
same with Charlotte. Like, she sees, like, you can't, as we're developing and the hormones start kicking in, you can't just be popping off at boys just because you're going through something. It's not their fault.
that's really a huge for me to hear that because over years it's always been like, oh, it's just I'm sorry, it's that time. That to me, I
Which,
can't
and it is
imagine.
valid
Very
too.
much so.
We're absolutely struggling, but there's no excuse, regardless of what you're going through in life, to be unkind to other humans. And like, that's the point.
Right. Especially, I mean, coming from a woman to say that, that's really, you're very brave and very courageous and you are the real deal. And I'm not just saying that because you're the real deal to me and because I love you, but you truly are. You know how to show up for a man. You know how to show up for me.
But also
Um,
because of the space you create for me.
yeah. Again, it takes two. It's bringing both your superpowers to the table to create one magical divine situation. It really is. But no, it's really nice to be able to sit down and to talk this out. And I hope that others can get some sort of inspiration out of this. We lead with love. I feel that love is what's going to make the world a better place. And it's not love and, oh, love and peace and, all that. It's love and unity. And it starts with relationships because men and women coming together is the first, it's like the Adam and Eve, right? You know what I mean? Coming together in divinity, coming together in sacredness. There's so much that's going on in the world today. You look at the rich and famous, where everyone's aspiring to be at, to be rich and famous. Look what's going on right now with it seems when you get to that level that you start really digging in the devil's playground, right? Because you start getting into it's the thing to do. And I'm not saying for everybody, but to make it to a puffy party. You know what I mean? It
I think
just,
you have to be predisposed to be that way, period.
I just know a lot of people there
Because I don't know
invited,
anybody in this room that would go to a Diddy party.
not past 3
They
a.m.,
might go
but
shopping with them a couple times.
but once our guys saw that kind of stuff would be like, nah, I'm not playing that because it's of a wholesome group that we hang out with rock stars, but they're wholesome rock stars where their dreams are to take care of their families and take care of their parents and all these different things. And that's the beauty of where the industry is going now. It's just like in our sector of relationships or in music or in the businesses that we have together. It's all about the same things we practice at home. And that's really being truthful, honest, integrity, principally based, have a great time, have fun. That's our motto. It's have fun every day. And we do. And I think that's really important. And that's a gift. Not everyone has that because people are in different places in their lives. Sometimes, you're not in love with your partner and you're married to them, and that is a problem. And how do you have kids? And I feel horrible for people that are in those situations. But those that can get to a healthy place and show up for another person that they really love and they want to be with, that is the new love. And that's the love that I believe we
We're
want
bringing
to.
back the 90s R&B love. We're going to be in the street like,
But it's an honor to be able to do that with
smack
you.
water off.
So thank you, Mala, Megan.
Ew, he never says my name.
I don't ever say Megan.
That's so
It
weird.
was very weird. We were in Austin. Truth. She's got Truth on her. And I have several tattoos, and one across on my side, it says, "You have the DNA of Almighty God," which it came to me at one point in my life, and I tattooed it. I got so much from that from other people that so narcissistic, and who do you think you are? And like, I was the devil for getting that.
The irony.
The irony. So Meg, I had weird somewhere in my shirt I lifted up, and she's like, I can feel her reading it, and she slaps me as hard, like hard. She's like, "Mama's home, bitch." She slapped me hard and says, "Mama's home, bitch." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is my mama right here."
To
I'm
be
just
clear, I did not slap him in the face or anywhere that would hurt. It was like, "Pa!" on the tattoo,
yeah, on the tattoo.
and I was
Mama's
very
home,
excited.
bitch. It was just her and I, and that was very. I think I fell in love that day. No,
He did.
I did. From the moment we started talking, it was that. But again, living life and having some turns around the sun and being in relationships doesn't matter how good you feel around someone, doesn't matter how the energy is. Follow the facts, and that will lead you. Do not ignore red flags, because it'll just get you to a point where you've possibly wasted a lot of time. Yes, I'm sure there's some silver linings in it
Your
and there's some
car gets
growth.
keyed.
Oh, you get beat up in a hotel room. Didn't happen to me, a friend, but yes.
He starts crying.
I love you, Mama.
That makes sense. I love